The year is 2025 and buying Lolita fashion on the internet is not what it used to be. Hi, I'm Ellie D, aka Ellie Delightful, Ellie Vyra, a bunch of other names, and I've been at least passively interested in Lolita fashion since 2012. My very first brand dress I bought secondhand on LiveJournal. And that should tell you a little bit about what era I am from originally, but it is easier than ever to get into Lolita fashion, and it is more accessible than ever, and it is more affordable than ever before to find pieces that you like in your size within your budget and then build a wardrobe that you can enjoy for many, many years to come. Chances are, if you clicked on this video, you fall into one of two camps. Either you are somebody who's been around my channel for a while and thought I quit making Lolita content and is now excited to click and watch something that is actually relevant to your interests. Hello, hi, good to see you. But based on the clickbaity title I'm probably going to give this video, my best guess is that you're here to learn about how to use LaceMarket. If you're at all a seasoned Lolita, you've had LaceMarket experience. And if you've ever bought or sold on LaceMarket, you know there is so much more that goes into it than just hitting buy now or placing a bid. So I am hoping that in this video you will learn what to do and what not to do to have a successful and happy and stressless time on LaceMarket. If you're not into Lolita fashion, or you are so new to the fashion that you are really just getting your toes wet, let me tell you a little bit about LaceMarket. LaceMarket is a secondhand Lolita marketplace. Think Poshmark, Depop, Vinted, eBay, but specifically for Lolita items. That's not just limited to Japanese items, but also Korean, European, US indie brands, handmade stuff, you name it. LaceMarket is community driven and not for profit. The people that run it are, as far as I know, just really passionate about Lolita fashion and building communities. They have a broader site called Circly, which is why egl.circly is the actual URL for lacemarket.us. And so there's a doll-focused LaceMarket, there's a vintage one, there's a Mori K and Visual K one, there's like an anime weeby one, and they all share the same feedback system, and therefore they also share the same unspoken etiquette rules. LaceMarket is also mostly peer-to-peer, and we are a very small community, so aside from the little handful of people who are professional resellers, and aside from a couple small indie brands that host some stock on LaceMarket in order to increase their visibility, it's pretty much going to be other Lolitas out there who you are dealing with, whether you are a buyer or a seller. It's not just a buying and selling platform though. Within the Lolita community, LaceMarket feedback has become an integral way of proving your trustworthiness to others within your community. If you ever wanted to trade dresses with somebody you met on the Discord or on Facebook or on Instagram, for example, you might still exchange LaceMarket feedback to protect both of you. And because of this, politeness really matters. And you would think that, a fashion where everybody dresses up like they're going to tea parties or is literally royalty or whatever would have a little bit more common sense politeness built into it, but it's just like any other subculture. There's always going to be a little bit of drama, and things can get out of hand really quickly if you make a wrong move on LaceMarket. You can get blacklisted from your community events, you can get blocked and banned on Discord and all sorts of other things. So it's really important that you start off on the right foot if you are just getting into this community. I should mention that the reason I've decided to make this video now is that I'm actually listing a metric crap ton of Lolita stuff on my own LaceMarket right now. And instead of just making a video talking about, what I have and what I'm trying to sell, which is not very interesting and doesn't really serve anybody but me and maybe a couple people who are actually in the market to buy things, I wanted instead to let some of my recent LaceMarket experiences and things that I've seen in the past when I've been selling and buying on LaceMarket to just kind of inform the community and have a little fun with it. Right now, I'm trying so hard to move as much of of my inventory as possible. I'm not a business, but I am treating my LaceMarket selling process like a business, even to the point where I am hiring somebody to help me with the listings. Take the photos and edit them and get them ready for posting because I have no time. If you've been around my channel for a long time, you'll know that I have been saving to buy a house for a long time. And a big part of me getting ready to do that was having to take an honest look at my spending habits and look at my closet with the eyes of Carrie Bradshaw in a shoe store in Sex and the City. Roll clip.
The lady at the bank said I was an unattractive candidate for a loan. Where did all my money go? I know I made some.
At $400 a pop, how many of these do you have? 100 times 400. There's your down payment.
Well, that's only $4,000.
No, it's 40,000.
I spent $40,000 on shoes and I have no place to live? I will literally be the old woman who lived in her shoes.
It did feel like I had spent tens of thousands of dollars over 10 years on this fashion. As much as I love it and as much as it brings me joy, living in a really awesome house in a better neighborhood that's more walkable than where I currently live would bring me more joy. And then out of sheer luck, something magical happened. The Netflix stock my spouse and I had bought in like 2021, 2022, back when it was, at an affordable-ish price, suddenly shot into the 600 times what we paid for it range. Thanks to K-pop Demon Hunters, my spouse and I are now buying a house. That is happening right now. I'm moving at the end of September and I am so overwhelmed. I cannot believe this is happening to me. It's so exciting. All that to say, moving is expensive. I had a lot of vet bills for my beloved cat who unfortunately just passed away. I've got foster kittens now that I'm trying to deal with. And once we've moved in, I'm gonna need to buy a lot of furniture because this place is so much bigger than our current place. All that to say, one of the things that I'm doing to raise money and prepare for this move is I'm selling about 40 to 60% of my wardrobe, which is completely overwhelming to me. I'm not gonna lie, but it is just incredible how many people have communication issues or hiccups. With the volume of offers I am receiving, I have noticed some trends, and this is just me trying to speak to my own experience and hopefully give you an edge if you are watching to get the LaceMarket items you want at the price you want. So to aid me in explaining the do's and don'ts of LaceMarket.us, I'd like to introduce a cast of frilly characters. Please note, disclaimer time, that none of these are actually based on real, actual people. They're just sort of an amalgamation of archetypes of types of people that I've had interactions with. If you've had a recent sale with me on LaceMarket, I promise I'm not making fun of you specifically, and none of this is meant to be extra critical or mean at heart. It's just for fun. So if you see yourself in any of these characters, please consider that you may have room for improvement and that we would all love to see it. Introducing first, the Slowpoke.
Oh, hey there. I was just about to message you. Hi, I'm interested in your JSK. It's my dream dress. How much is shipping to my zip code? Thanks.
Hello, and thank you for reaching out with your interest. To which JSK are you referring to, may I ask? I have several up for sale right now, and this could apply to any of them. If you would provide me the name of the item you're interested in or a description and your zip code, I can get you a quote right away. Thank you so much again. Hope we can do business together.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I meant the Metamorphose dress. I'm based in Texas. Thanks again. Bye.
Hello again. I actually have a couple of Meta JSKs available right now. They all weigh about 2 pounds, give or take, so estimating 2.5 pounds, including the box and packaging, and choosing a random zip code I found for the Austin area. The shipping would cost about $18. Please let me know if you'd like to make an offer for combined shipping, or if that shipping cost would work for you. Please feel free to make a bid whenever you are ready. Thank you for your interest.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I meant the one with the cats. Anyway, would you accept $280 shipped to Texas? Looking forward to your reply. Bye.
Oh, hi again. If you're referring to the Wonder Card JSK with the black cats on it, I'm very sorry to say that actually somebody bought that a couple of weeks ago. But I'm sure that I have some other dresses that might be of interest to you. I have a couple other meta JSKs in the same size range, and I have 2 from indie brands that have cats on them that might suit you as well if you're still looking for something similar. Please let me know how you'd like to proceed, and thank you again for messaging me.
What? You sold it? Oh, I'm so disappointed. That was my dream dress. Oh no. I really wish you had told me. Listen, I had some family stuff going on. My mom had COVID. My little brother went back to school. I couldn't reply very fast, but you should have held the item for me.
Yes, like I said, I'm so terribly sorry, but I am bound by LaceMarket's terms to sell to whoever has the winning bid. Sometimes I can put an item on hold or, take a small deposit amount as a down payment, but I would need that worked out in advance because I no longer accommodate holds that don't include a deposit. Sadly, I've just had too many bad experiences where buyers back out of holds in the past. And I know this is quite disappointing for you, this being your dream dress and all, but I hope you'll keep an eye out on my listings and let me know if any other items appeal to you. I would still be very happy to sell you another dress or take a hold provided I have the info I need from you in advance. And if not, that is totally okay. I wish you very good luck in finding your dream dress somewhere else. Thank you.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Next time, I'll be faster to reply and more specific from the start. Bye.
Next up, we have the Toxic Elitist.
Daydream Carnival is so overrated, I could puke. Ugh, I can't believe you're selling this dress for more than it originally cost online. I was there in 2012 and I could buy this for $150 off of LiveJournal. Paying $600 for this dress is exactly what's wrong with this community.
Hello, thank you for your comment. If you find the dress to be too expensive, that's fine. You don't have to buy it. It's new with tag and quite rare, so I think my minimum bid is pretty reasonable. The $600 buy it now price is just a placeholder for people who want to make offers. Let me know if I can help you answer any questions. Thanks!
This dress is not worth $600, period. It's not even worth the $300 it was when it retailed new back in 2012.
Hi again. Like I said, the $600 buy it now price is just a placeholder. I use it when there are already bids on an item, but I get a high enough offer that I want to bypass the bidding if I accept it. I don't really expect anyone to buy it for that price, but honestly, I have seen the bidding for this dress in new with tags condition in another colorway go for almost this much in the last couple of months, and I don't think there's an example of this dress in this colorway in the last few years, so it might end up selling for that much. Hope this clears things up.
Look, I get the dress is new with tag. That doesn't concern me. What concerns me is you trying to scalp newbies.
I can assure you I am not scalping anyone, and I do not appreciate the accusation. To be clear, I did a ton of research and put tons of thought into my pricing based on recent market trends, what this dress and similar releases sold for in this size range. So this is very intentional, and I do have bids, so it's not like nobody's willing to pay it.
Why are you talking about the market? Are you some sort of dirty capitalist? Ugh, this is what's wrong with the Lolita community, I swear to God.
I'm pretty sure I don't own the means of Lolita production, so why are you calling me a capitalist?
Okay, well, good luck selling your crappy dress at its super high price that nobody will ever pay. Hi.
Yes, hello. What can I help you with?
Oh, hey. I actually really want to make an offer on this antique beast headdress.
Actually, I'd really rather not do business with you. If you make a bid and you win the auction, I will be required to sell you the item, so feel free to do that if you want. But as far as accepting offers, I don't have to accept anything from anyone. And I especially don't have to accept something from someone who is mean and super duper critical of my selling methods in the very public way that you were. Besides, there are already bids on the item you're asking about, so you're literally trying to benefit from the system you were criticizing, and I just can't deal with that hypocrisy.
What? No, that's just my personality. You don't have to be so mean now.
I sincerely hope you're able to find the item you're looking for in your price range somewhere else, because I would strongly prefer not to sell to you, and I will ask the mods to intervene if you continue to harass me for any reason.
Look, my opinion is the one that's right, and I know this because I've been around since 2008, back before Lolita Fashion was cool, and everybody had to travel to Japan to get anything, and you had to be teeny tiny skinny, and I was, okay?
Reported. Why can't Lolitas be lovelies? Huh? Why can't they all be lovelies?
Why won't anybody listen to me?
Number 3 on our list is the penniless jester.
Oh my god, this is my dream dress, but I can't afford it. I'm so broke. Ha! Lol. Wow, you must be super rich to afford this. Lol. Ha! Are you like an heiress or a .com millionaire or something? Ha! Lol. You just have my dream wardrobe. I can't afford this because I'm broke, but like, oh my god, I would murder you and steal your closet if I could. Ha! Lol.
Oh, that is so flattering, I guess. But don't worry, I've been collecting in this fashion for over a decade. If you save up and you find some good deals, you can totally build your dream wardrobe just like I did. I'm actually selling a couple of these items on my LaceMarket right now, and if you want to check them out, here is the link.
Wow, oh my god, this is so cool. I would really love to buy this from you. The problem is I'm really broke. I'm between jobs right now.
Yes, thank you for your interest. I do remember you. I'm happy to accommodate your budgetary needs with a payment plan, or if you want to make me an offer by a DM or something, we can do that too. Let me know and we can probably work something out. Looking forward to hopefully doing business with you.
Oh my god, lol. I know you said you were open to offers. Would you accept $5?
Hello, and thank you for this message, but are you being serious about this? I have the dress listed at over $250, so a $5 offer, it's kind of disrespectful. Is this a joke? Please let me know if you'd like to make a serious offer. I am happy to consider reasonable offers given the current price. Thanks so much.
You said you were open to all offers. Okay, hey, I have an idea for a payment plan. I'm like super broke, low. So what if I give you $20 today, and then in 5 months, I give you another $20, and then in 3 months after that, maybe I give you $150.
Oh boy. Okay, hello. Thank you for the thoughtful message with your payment plan idea. While the total amount is much closer to an offer I would accept, I can't take payment plans that fall outside of a 2-month window. From experience, sales tend to fall apart pretty quickly when dragged out for too long, and so 2 months is my maximum. I also wanted to let you know that per my terms of sale, I only accept plans that include a 30% upfront and non-refundable deposit. This is just to protect my time, and it also increases the follow-through amongst buyers who need payment plans, not that I don't trust you. If 30% is too tough for you right now, we can try to find a workaround, maybe break it down further. I'm so willing to find a solution here for you since it is clear that you really love this item. Let me know what you think.
Okay, hear me out. Look, New payment plan idea, lol. Let's say this, okay? Okay. Today, I send you $20 by PayPal, okay? Next week, I send you another $40. And then also, I'm expecting a gift card from my mom for Christmas. So I will give you that gift card to the Red Lobster. It's gonna have like $50 on it. I'll ship that to you in like an envelope. And then when you get it, you can ship me the dress.
Okay, not really sure what to make of this. I do want to accommodate you, but this is actually a pretty big step back in some ways from your last offer. For one thing, the last one was a total offer of $190, spread across 8 months with about a 10% down payment. This new offer is $130, including a gift card that I cannot accept and only has a 20% down payment. Just for your reference, 30% of $250 that I'm asking is $75. Your first offer was almost 25% off the asking price, which is something I could consider, but the latest one is almost 50% below what I'm asking, and I just cannot go that low. Is there some way we can meet in the middle here?
You won't work with me here.
I think I'm gonna regret this. Okay, how about this? I will accept your original offer of $190, but we have to do the payment plan within 2 months. If you can pay the $50 for the upfront deposit, we can break the rest of the $140 remaining into 7 payments of $20 and spread those every week for 7 weeks. Then I will ship the item after the 7th payment clears. If that works for you, feel free to use that buy it now option, and I will be in touch after each payment request is sent to honor that $190 total. I hope we can do business together. Oh my god, they actually paid the deposit. This is happening. Okay, wow. Whew. Okay, that's a relief. Hello again. Just wanted to make sure you saw that payment request for $20 for the first of the 7 installments has been sent to you. It is due within 12 hours from now, unless you need some sort of accommodation. I'm happy to work with you, just please let me know. Thanks.
Okay, so I have some unexpected bills, and I can't pay the next installment on time, but I can send you $20 off a $50 purchase at Michael's.
Sorry, I can't accept discount coupons in place of payment. Does this mean you are not going to be able to follow through with our purchase plan?
Do you accept hot cash from Hot Topic?
Yeah, hot cash is also a coupon. I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm gonna give you until the end of day tomorrow to give you a little bit more time, but if you can't pay by the end of day in Pacific time, I will have to cancel the sale. You'll be forfeiting your deposit and I'm gonna relist the item. Please pay that $20 request ASAP so that we can continue to do business together. Thanks.
Lol. Okay, well, it was worth a try. Yeah, you can't blame me for trying, right? Right? No. Alright. Well, let me know if you change your mind.
This is why I charge deposits.
Next up, we have the baby buyer. Goo goo gaga.
Hello there. I read your terms of service and it said that if you're new, to message you before purchase. I'm brand new to Lolita and LaceMarket, so I'm messaging you in advance. I don't have any other forms of feedback, but I hope that's okay. Can you sell to me?
Hello, and thank you for reading my terms of sale and reaching out as I directed. Don't worry about your feedback. I can tell that you are trustworthy and I would be happy to sell to any newbie who follows my directions as well as you have. Were you interested in any item in particular or a sub-style? Let me know if you'd like to make an offer or even bundle a few things for a starter wardrobe. Looking forward to doing business together.
Wow, thank you so much. Well, let's see. I like Angelic Pretty and Baby the Stars Shine Bright. Oh, and there's that Tawabawa brand that I'm interested in too.
So unfortunately, I don't have any AP or baby for sale right now, but if you mean Taobao brands, then I do have some things you might like. Taobao is just a catch-all term for the Chinese indie brands that you can buy on the Taobao selling platform. I have a bunch of stuff from different brands there. I've got a dress from CC Cat, 2 from NSG Lolita, 1 from Cat's Tea Party, and a couple pieces by Chemical Romance. Feel free to look at my current items and let me know if you have any other questions, and feel free to make bids whenever you're ready.
Okay, will those fit me though? I'm a size ML.
So ML is a little bit too vague for me to tell if these dresses will fit you. My best recommendation is to go off of your own body measurements and then compare that to the dress measurements which are listed in the listing. Your body measurements should be a little bit under the maximum measurements listed, but if you are somewhere in the lower to mid part of that range, you should be absolutely fine. Hope this helps.
I don't know what that means in measurements. I'll have to ask my grandma for help measuring me.
So, for example, that CC Cat Rainbow Dollhouse dress has a bust range of 108 to 118 centimeters, and I can confirm that it actually goes a lot higher than that too. It has a waist of 100 to 108 centimeters, and if your measurements fall within that range, that means the dress will absolutely fit you.
Okay, those will fit me after all. Thank you for letting me know. So, how do I buy them?
Feel free to place your bids whenever you are ready. When the auctions end, I'll total up the amount for the items you won, calculate a combined shipping cost, and send you a PayPal request for the total. If you want to make a combined offer for the lot, we can work out something that way too. And if you need a payment plan, just let me know.
Oh, I don't have a PayPal account.
Oh, okay, not to worry. I can actually use PayPal to create an invoice and send that to your email address. That way you can pay by credit card instead without having a PayPal account of your own. Just let me know if you want to make a combined offer.
I don't have a credit card either. All I have is my bank information. I'll ask my grandma if I can borrow her credit card.
Yeah, okay, if that works for you, that works for me. Please go ahead and place your bids whenever you're ready. Looking forward to doing business with you.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I thought these were used clothes. That's so expensive. I can't really afford that. So, I guess I'll just go shop at Goodwill or Amazon or eBay or something. Thanks anyway.
No, not another one. Please don't buy off of Amazon.
And rounding out our cast, we have the ghost.
Hello, I'm interested in your honey cake set. I'd like to pay $320, including domestic shipping. We both live in California, so I hope you'll accept the offer. Thank you for your consideration.
Hello, thank you for your offer. I think that is totally reasonable for the honey cake set, and I would be happy to honor that price. Go ahead and use the buy it now option whenever you're ready, and when I send over the payment request, it will reflect your offer amount in total. Looking forward to doing business with you. Guess they weren't that interested after all.
Hello, what would shipping cost to zip code 56789? Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for your comment. It looks like I can offer you 2 different shipping options. The more expensive one is through USPS, and that's priority mail and will be $20. Or if you want to save a little bit of money and don't mind that I'm shipping through UPS, I can do $15 to your zip code. If either of those numbers work for you, then feel free to make a bid, and if you win, I will be sending you a confirmation to choose which shipping option you want before I send you your payment request. Thank you so much, and good luck in the auction! simple no thanks would suffice, but
Hello, would you be able to hold your angelic pretty honey cake JSK for me until Tuesday? I get paid on Monday. I could pay right away. Thank you.
hello, and thank you for your interest. I would be happy to hold this item for you until Tuesday. I've just edited the listing to remove the bidding option, and I've put your username in the title so that people know it is reserved for you. I'll be in touch again on Tuesday, but feel free to use the Buy It Now button whenever you are ready. Hello again, just checking in because it's Tuesday. Did you still want to buy this dress? If not, please let me know and I will make sure to remove your reserved part of the listing. Thank you! And this is why I don't do holds without a deposit. I should just know better by now.
Hello, can I make a combined offer for your 3 Metamorphose dresses right now? I think they're called Wizard's Herbology, Secret Perfume Lab, and the third one has black cats on it. Thank you.
Wow, that sounds amazing. All of those dresses are really fabulous and I would love to see them go to a good home together. So thank you so much for reaching out. Please let me know what that is and if you have a best offer including shipping cost with your zip code, that would be great too. Just let me know how you'd like to proceed. I would love to do business with you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to see if you're still interested in those 3 dresses. One of them is about to sell in auction, so I just wanted to make sure. Ghosted again.
So now that we know who we're dealing with, let's talk about what we're dealing with. Here are some common sense buyer etiquette basics that I hope we can all follow from now on. First of all, read the listing very, very carefully. Some sellers will put a couple of bullet points up and a link to the low library listing and that's it. Others will write you a novel or something that resembles a mommy blogger's recipe page with the story of how they found the dress and where it came from and what ingredients they like to use and the kind of weather it was on the day they last wore it. Or maybe they're like me and they like writing a 5-paragraph essay with citations. I even like to link to videos if I've used the item in a video in the past. I've got videos, people can see the item in motion with natural lighting and stuff. It's pretty useful, so it can really run the gamut. But there are some specific components that are going to be in every single listing that you should pay extra special attention to, no matter what. And these are the condition of the item, the listed measurements, if there are any, what the shipping cost would be to your country, and the seller's terms of service. If the seller does not have terms of service, definitely still check their profile to see if there's anything that they have policy-wise in there. Otherwise, if a terms of service isn't referenced, still make a point of going to check the terms of service tab on each listing to see if the seller has posted anything about their selling methods. Shipping costs can also sometimes be referenced in the body of the listing. If there is a standard price for domestic and maybe international shipping, you can usually find it at the bottom of the listing. If it says contact for price, definitely contact for price before you place your bid. You do not want to be blindsided by anybody's shipping costs or shipping methods. Personally, it is much harder for me to get out to a US post office than it is for me to go to UPS. So I'll often ship with UPS instead of USPS, and that has caused trouble for some of my buyers, but I state it in my terms. Now, with the sellers that are not as detailed in their listings, please remember that you can always ask for more information. Most sellers have at least a front view and a back view of their item. It's always a bit riskier to buy or bid on something that doesn't have at least those 2 views, especially if it's marked as having some sort of damage and it's not specifically honed in on within those pictures. But you are within your rights to ask for extra information, whether that be pictures of details, questions about additional measurements that aren't listed or referenced anywhere, questions about shipping and handling times, you name it. If you are unsure for any reason, but you are serious about the item, you should feel free to message the seller. And if they don't message you back, that's on them. I think everyone's nightmare scenario, the one anecdote that I keep hearing over and over again in different forms, is buying an item and having it arrive and then realizing that there was a damage to the item or a smell or something that was disclosed but sort of hidden in the fine print of the listing. Sellers are supposed to check these boxes when they create their LaceMarket listing. It says this has been modified, this has been stained, this is wrinkly, this is pilling, this has a stink to it. And the smell doesn't have to be a negative smell, but if you store your clothing in a perfumed area and you sell to somebody who's really sensitive to perfume smells, that could be a big problem. So as a seller, it makes the most sense to be as honest as possible, but it also makes sense to disclose without highlighting those damages sometimes, because you don't want to deter somebody from buying who would otherwise be turned off by it, or you don't want to get picked up in the filters. There's also the fact that very good, like new, etc., those are all kind of subjective, and even though LaceMarket has a guideline for what they consider to be each different tier, it doesn't mean that everyone is going to read and follow that exactly. So make sure that you are looking at every single aspect. You don't want to be up the creek without a paddle or whatever when you find out that it was technically disclosed, even though it wasn't really showcased. Here's another do. If you do get something that has an undisclosed damage or issue with it, reach out to your seller before you leave feedback or go straight to PayPal. We are all human. We make a lot of mistakes. I think that's going to be sort of a repeated mantra throughout this video, unfortunately, but you'll find that sellers are actually very accommodating, and if they've made a mistake, they would much rather work with you to solve the problem in a way that will make both of you happy than deal with negative feedback. I personally have had issues where I've received something that had stains that weren't disclosed. I just take a couple of photos and I send the information to the seller so that we can work something out. For example, the dress that I'm wearing right now, this is a Metamorphose Bout Couvé cutlery print JSK. This was my preferred colorway. I hunted for it in the plus size for forever. And when I got it on LaceMarket, I got a great deal. It came with the head bow, but even being a good deal, it did come with undisclosed stains. So I messaged the seller, I showed them pictures of the stains, and I just said, hey, I think you might have missed these. I told them that I was going to go get the dress dry cleaned and that I was going to try to hand wash the pieces that couldn't really go through the dry cleaning process, like the head bow and the waist ties and the front bow. And the seller was so nice and so gracious and so apologetic. They had worn it out to dinner and they had done their best job to spot clean it before sending it, but they just missed a couple of spots, which is why it wasn't disclosed. So they offered to pay for my professional dry cleaning of this dress, and when I told them what it would cost, they actually sent me more money in the refund than I had requested from them, which I thought was just really thoughtful. They basically explained that they were trying to be conscientious of my time and my energy, and it was sort of their way of apologizing. At the end of the day, I got to wear the dress that I wanted. I got it in a condition that worked for me, and I got it repaired, and it was fine. And I left positive feedback and explained exactly what this seller did for me that was so above and beyond, in my opinion. Another do, which I think definitely makes a difference when you're asking for things from a seller, is to be clear and polite with your messaging. Remember that there is a human being on the other side of that screen and treat them as such. It's really not hard. You know, I always appreciate a message, regardless of the topic of the message, that starts with a greeting. Hi, how are you? My recommended method is to greet the seller, explain clearly and specifically what you are looking for from them, whether that's more information or if you're requesting a specific accommodation like a payment plan or a delayed payment or a deferred payment or something like that. If you're making an offer, whatever it is, be very specific. Thank them for their time and their information, and yes, just treat them like a human being person. Treat them like a human person. They're not literal puppets operating these accounts. Am I a man? Or am I a poker puppet? It's not a bad thing to be brief and blunt within your message. I do get a lot of people that are just like, hey, how much? And I don't know what to do with that. I understand that a lot of folks who are reliant on their handheld devices might go to brevity in order to, save them time and energy, and typing on a little tiny screen can be kind of a challenge, but don't sacrifice specificity for convenience. I get messages all the time that don't mention the name of the item. They just have offer in the subject line, and then they say, how about this for the JSK? Or I want to pay $150, and I don't know what they're talking about. Which JSK? I have 5 listed. And even if you say something like the Meta JSK, the AP ribbon, whatever, it's probably still not going to be enough for me, because I have a lot of listings up at the same time right now, and sometimes your question can apply to more than one item. And instead of going back and forth with you asking, can you clarify what item you're interested in, and then that causing a delay, I would just recommend being very specific. I'm interested in your pink angelic pretty head bow. I'm interested in your Meta Disney collaboration plus size Alice JSK. Doesn't have to be the exact names or whatever, but just get more specific if you can. If you're asking questions about shipping, be specific there as well. I always recommend putting your zip code or postal code, depending on what country you're in, within that message, because then if there is a difference depending on province, state, etc., for the shipping price, they can get you a better, more accurate quote straight off the bat. I love it when I see a zip code or even a city name. I'm down with that as well. Anything that makes it easier to give you an exact answer. And speaking of international sales, I don't want to discourage anybody for whom English is not their first language. I get a lot of folks that apologize to me for the way that they write in English, and it breaks my heart because I would have so much trouble trying to reach out to them in their native language, and they've made the effort to communicate with me in mine. So if the grammar or spelling or anything like that is off, I'm not going to judge you. I think what you're doing is amazing. And if anybody does critique your grammar, just know that they're a bigot and nobody likes them. This is very important to put on the do list. Pay promptly when you have bid or committed to buy an item. When you use the Buy It Now button on LaceMarket, or when the auction ends, the seller gets an email notification saying that their item has been sold. When they look at the link to the item on LaceMarket, they get this little green section that explains what the next steps are, which is super convenient for brand new sellers, but buyers don't have insight into this. If you have a verified PayPal address on LaceMarket, that will also be sent to your seller automatically. If you don't have that confirmed, I definitely recommend messaging your seller with that information up front to save time and make the process of actually getting that payment request or invoice to you much faster. Most sellers have some sort of payment window within their policies. Some people require payment within the first 48 hours. I'm one of those people. I usually say 36 to 48 hours because I'm trying to be charitable. Some sellers will give you up to a week, but you can't count on that being the case, so definitely message them in advance if you think you are going to need some sort of specific payment schedule accommodation, even if you're just paying all up front at once. If you're on some sort of a payment plan, try to keep track as best you can of when those payments are due and what those payments are set to be. If you've got things broken down into more than 2 parts, then that can get a little bit intimidating, but what I like to do is confirm with dates and amounts within the message of what the expectations are, so that my buyers know exactly what they're going to expect and when, and then I go ahead and I schedule little calendar notifications on my Google Calendar for each of those payments with the person's email and amount and the item that they were buying, and then I confirm with them via LaceMarket also to say, hey, I just sent this request. But as a seller, I know that it is also also extremely helpful to have buyers who are on top of these things as well. I've had the wonderful experience of having buyers pay early for their payment plans. They'll just send me the rest of the money with a little note about how they got paid early, or they came into some money from a relative, or they got a bonus at work or whatever, and now they can just pay. That means I get to send them the item sooner, which means it's out of my house sooner, which is amazing. When the transaction is over, it is time to leave feedback. And you'll notice that different sellers have different ways of dealing with this. If they're one of those massive reseller accounts, they may have already left you feedback the second you paid. That's cool. A lot of sellers are not that organized and will not think about doing that. Personally, I don't leave feedback on a buyer's profile until after they leave me feedback, or if they tell me in advance that they've received the item and that everything was okay with it. And I do this because when it comes to PayPal transactions and chargebacks and things like that, the buyers have more power than the sellers. Oh, I don't know how much detail I want to go into about how I was scammed in the past, but okay. So I was scammed in the past where I left somebody positive feedback. They just said, hey, the item's here, can you leave me feedback? I left them feedback, and the second I had done that, they tried to charge back via PayPal with the item in hand. They tried to charge back the entire amount of the item and just steal from me, which was wild. But I was able to use that message on LaceMarket as proof that I had actually sent them the item and that they had received it. And when asked for more information about what was wrong with the item, they had said never came, which meant that they were lying. So I could prove that they were lying. If somebody were to leave me feedback that said that there was something wrong with the dress, I would like the opportunity to address that privately before I, would leave them feedback or whatever. And certainly if a buyer is extremely rude to me and they leave me feedback that's nice, I might be more inclined to leave them nicer feedback as well. But if somebody is rude to me and they don't leave me feedback at all, I'm either not going to leave them feedback, or depending on the level of rudeness, I might leave neutral or bad feedback. I really hate leaving negative feedback though. I just, I get a gut-wrenching feeling every time I do it because I just have so much empathy for people who are selling things, so I hate to do it, but for some people it's really warranted. So, stand up for yourself, but make sure that you are leaving feedback to the sellers as well. And, if there is something that they did that you are specifically particularly happy with, it really helps sellers out if you leave a little mention of that in your feedback comment. So, for example, if you had to negotiate a payment plan, or if you made an offer and it was accepted, or if you needed some sort of other accommodation. Let's say you asked to have the price marked down for an international sale, or maybe the seller was really kind and left a little extra note and some goodies in there for you. Maybe they answered a lot of questions up front or helped you through some part of the process. Just mention that in the feedback when you give it. It means a lot to us as sellers to see that the efforts that we are making are recognized. And also it gives other buyers confidence that if they encounter something similar, they'll receive a similar level of customer service, which is really valuable. And the last and most important thing that I can stress under the do's of LaceMarket is just to communicate at all times. Communicate, then communicate, maybe then over communicate, and then finally communicate. Like I say before, we're all humans. We've got our crazy complex lives. There's so much going on. And sometimes things come up. We have needs. We experience hardship. We, bid on an item and we need to back out. Or, we asked for a payment plan and we're not going to be able to pay that second payment. Even if you've just placed a bid and your situation changes between when you place the bid and when the auction's due to end, message the seller immediately. Because if you do need any accommodations, you'll have more time to negotiate them up front. The seller will be able to make an informed decision about whether they feel comfortable selling to you or not. And speaking personally, I will always accommodate somebody who has good communication and needs something specific from me in the meantime. I would rather sell to a known quantity who has proven that they are trustworthy and that they can ask for help if they need it, and who will keep me posted if anything goes wrong. And I think a lot of buyers really appreciate that. So if you are one of those buyers and that isn't specifically worked out for you, don't let that discourage you. Sellers are reasonable people. Sometimes accommodations can be made, sometimes they can't. And now we get to the drama. It's not really drama, it's just sort of dramatic. It can be quite dramatic anyway. The don'ts of what to do on LaceMarket, as we've had demonstrated by our motley crew of angry Lolita Mons. Is it Pokelitas or Lolita Mons? I don't know yet. It's gonna become a thing. I can't be the only Lolita who's obsessed with Pokemon, like, out in the world. I am a Poke adult. I'm sorry, this is very revealing. When you have a collection of Pokemon puppets, what else are you gonna do with them besides dress them up for your YouTube skits? I mean, the don'ts. Let's talk about the don'ts. For one thing, don't vanish after you ask a question or leave a comment or whatever. It's not the end of the world from a seller's perspective, but it is pretty rude and deeply inconvenient, especially if you're in the middle of negotiating something and then just let it hang. Don't be like the ghost of the group. Just say, hey, thank you for the information. Turns out this isn't for me. Or even just thank you, I'll consider this. Or, no thank you works. Just leave us with something, right? Like, let us know what's going on so that we're not sitting there waiting while somebody else is trying to make an offer on something and yours is pending, right? A simple thanks for the info will go a long way towards leaving a good impression with this seller. Even if you don't end up buying, you might want the next item they post. So leave a good impression and make sure that you're not consistently ghosting people. It can be quite annoying and inconvenient. Don't make lowball offers out of nowhere with no context. We've all seen the penniless jester. Nobody is actually going to appreciate a $50 offer on a $500 dress, even if they say all offers are welcome. Don't waste anyone's time with a lowball offer. It's just not respectful. There's really no way that you're gonna have it accepted anyway. We are gonna talk a little bit about haggling later, but just to say it now and here in case you skip that section, if you are making an offer, the more you can justify why that offer is the way that it is, the amount that it is and such, the better. I'm much more likely to accommodate somebody's budget if they tell me this is going to max out my budget. If they reach out to me and they say, hey, I see you're based in California. I'm also based in California. Do you think you could look into a cheaper shipping method for me or combine the shipping into the buy it now price or something? Then yeah, I'm gonna look into that for them. Things that help me decide whether or not to accept an offer include whether or not you have a specific budget that you are trying to reference, whether or not this is something you've been looking for a long time and you have an in-depth knowledge about what it's sold for in the past that you can reference with links to previously sold dresses. If it's the same size in a different colorway, even if it's not exact, just put your anchor price there somewhere. If you've done your research, show your work. Another thing that happens with offer making that I am definitely putting on the don'ts list is don't make offers for items that aren't for sale, y'all. This happens to me all the time. I actually get messages pretty frequently that pertain to my YouTube channel on LaceMarket, which is, I guess, what I get for putting my face and my name and that link out there like this. But when I post a glowing review of a dress from 3 years ago and somebody just sees it and then messages me on LaceMarket to make an offer on a dress that I'm not interested in selling, it feels pretty invasive. It's pretty rude. You hear about it happening at meetups too, where you're wearing something specific and it's old and it's rare and it's sought after and you're wearing it as a flex, but also because you love it. And some person, whether or not they're in the Lolita community, is sitting there trying to buy the dress off of your body. It's rude. Nobody would do this outside of Lolita Fashion. It is wild. Don't ask to buy a dress out of my closet. You have no idea if I'm willing to sell or not. It's also not uncommon to buy something on LaceMarket and then somebody months or years later will message you to say, hey, do you still have this? Would you be willing to sell it to me? And they found this based on the history of the item on LaceMarket. Pro tip, when you're doing research on LaceMarket, you can look at sold listings. This is useful for some things, such as if you're a buyer and you're trying to figure out what to offer for a specific dress. You're trying to figure out if a dress that you are interested in is a good deal or not based on historical data. I love data. I'm a data nerd. I think this is a great feature. But because of the whole capturing who actually bought it part of the equation, it can get a little invasive. And I have definitely gotten offers for things that I bought. Maybe I was the winning bid in a bidding war, and then the runner-up bidder will try to buy it from me instead of the original seller. Girl, just bid higher next time. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And before you come in saying, oh, but what if you do want to sell it someday? Well, that day has come actually for me. The dress that I have gotten the single most amount of attention and interest and rude messages about, I'm actually now selling. So I guess PSA to anybody who was interested in the Princess Hidden in My Memory plus size dark purple meta OP set that I reviewed many years ago. Yeah, I am finally deciding to sell it. People have offered me all sorts of weird things for this dress. I got offered Milky Chan the Fawn in exchange for this dress. Like the Milky Chan the Fawn dress, which does me absolutely zero good because I would never be able to fit into it. Like, I don't understand that. But anyway, it's not going to be cheap. It's an expensive dress. It's extremely rare and sought after. And I would know because I've had dozens of people ask to buy it off of me. That said, it's probably going to be auctioned off soon. I don't think I'm going to have the time to list it properly before this video goes out because I don't know if my marketing intern is going to be able to take photos and stuff of it before she has to go back to high school. So we'll see. But in any case, this is the one time when I'm going to say, if you are interested in this dress, you can make me an offer for it. Go to my LaceMarket and message me your best and final offer because I will put this on auction. It will have a starting bid of at least $600 depending on what the offers look like. But that's what I paid for the dress, and I've been offered much more for that since then, and it's only gotten more rare since then. If you've messaged me about this dress before and you're feeling kind of called out by this section, don't worry. I will let bygones be bygones. You will have your chance at it. Just message me again. I give you consent. You can do that right now. But please don't be a penniless jester about it, you know? And don't be a toxic elitist about it either. Anyway, tangent over. The final don't, which is extremely important and sort of ties into what I was just talking about, is don't ignore the seller's terms of service. I put do read them in the do's section. I'm going to put don't ignore them in the don't section because if you already didn't read them, that's a problem for sure. But if you're going to read them and then say, oh, but they'll make an exception for me though. Like, no. You know that thing about assuming how it makes an ass of you and me? That's relevant here. If a seller says, I do not accept payment plans, do not ask them for a payment plan. If a seller says, I am not accepting offers at this time, do not send them any offers at this time. If a seller says, I don't ship to your country, I'm sorry, babes, they don't ship to your country. And I know the pain of this as a buyer too, because there is a specific angelic pretty barrette that I have been hunting for the last 10 years that is on LaceMarket right now, but they do not ship to the USA. I have to rise above it. If it keeps, coming down in price, maybe I will leave a comment that just says, if you ever consider shipping to USA, please let me know, which is a very different thing than saying, please ship this to me in the USA against your terms. Leaving a door open for an opportunity is, I think, a little less rude, personally. It's something I would appreciate more than a message that clearly flies in the face of my explicitly stated wishes. If the seller says, I don't sell to anybody with negative feedback, or I don't sell to anybody with zero feedback, don't buy from them if you have zero feedback or negative feedback. It is perfectly within their rights to refuse you service. Their terms are their terms. If you don't like their terms, complaining about them also is not a very good way for them to change those terms. I've had people complain about me expecting payment within 48 hours, which I state in my terms, which are referenced all over my listings. It's like kind of my thing that I go, read my terms, read my terms. I'm like, I don't know what to tell them because I can't make accommodations for literally every single thing. And if somebody specifically does something that disagrees with my terms, I am a public figure as far as Lolita goes. I am the most minor celebrity in all of Lolitadom, but I am somebody who is recognized and talked about online and stuff, and I can't compromise my values or break my own terms of service, even if you're really nice and wonderful. But if you're rude and you just say, well, I don't like your terms, I'm not going to sell to you. I don't have to, and I won't. So let's talk about making offers, right? Because I feel like that is maybe the most important thing for a lot of y'all who have been in the fashion for a while, but still don't necessarily feel comfortable with putting yourself out there like that. Every time I'm doing the swap meet at the Ursa Major convention, I am always telling people, like, haggle with me, let's make a deal. And I can see in their face how uncomfortable they are with that. I will see their entire demeanor shut down. If they were thinking about an item and I've just told them they can request a discount, they don't know what to do with that. So let's start off by defining when it is okay to haggle and when you really should not be haggling. If a seller explicitly states, again, that they are not taking offers for an item, don't make an offer. It's that easy. Just be respectful. If you're trying to think of an exception to the rule, I have a couple of things that I would like to caution you about. If an item has been listed at full price for a very long time, and I'm not talking 5 days or 2 weeks, I'm talking a month, and you've had it on your little watch list with that little heart tick, and they keep relisting it over and over and over again, maybe, you can make an offer. And again, I would say, the best way to go about doing this is to send them a message saying that if they are ever open to offers, you would like to make one. You can leave a comment, which also bumps the listing up to the recent activities page, which puts it on the front page of LaceMarket, which is really nice. So a lot of buyers who leave comments are very much preferred by sellers for general types of things like that. We don't necessarily get notifications about comments though, so if you want it read, definitely send a message. If the item has the make me an offer button ticked, you will see a little make me an offer phrase within the store listing. And when that is there, I think you got carte blanche, girl, go for it. Like, make that offer. Sometimes a seller will also have OBO at some point in their listing, in their title or in the description body. That means or best offer, and it does mean that they are open to offers. Some sellers, especially the newer ones, don't necessarily get rigorous with the checking of the buttons and stuff. If you have an inkling that they are open to offers because the item's been sitting around for a while, or because they said they'd like to sell it for X amount for whatever reason, that means that they would be open to not selling it for that amount. Keep in mind, though, that when you make an offer, if it's a brand new item that was listed for the first time and it hasn't expired and been refreshed yet, it's very unlikely for a seller to accept a lowball offer below the minimum bid. This is just best practice as a seller. Honestly, you don't want to shortchange yourself. And sometimes if you leave a buy it now price like too low, I actually listed this for too little because the market is hot right now and, somebody was willing to pay that immediately. So that means that maybe I could have made a little bit more money on it or whatever. But if you've seen them list it and list it again and relist it again and again and again, if you see them drop the price, especially if the price is starting to get closer to what you would like to pay, but is still a little bit over, that is a great time to make an offer. Maybe buyers don't know this, but as a seller, you only get put on the front page if you relist your item and then lower the minimum bid by 10% each time, which means that if you wanted to sell it for 5% less, you would still be kind of forced to do a 10% discount in order to qualify for that refreshed placement on the front page. You can see my performance marketing background in all of this, can't you? Yeah, I'm a performance marketer, so that's what this is all about. I understand the system. So yeah, that's a great time to make an offer and have a high probability of it being accepted. Let's talk about how to phrase your offer. This can be really crucial as well. If somebody just offers me something with like, hey, how about X amount? I don't know anything about them and I don't really feel compelled to take a loss on the item for them, Since we are all humans, think about doing a human thing. Appeal to your seller's empathy. So, if you have a budget, tell them about their budget. Say, hello, I am interested in this item. My budget is X. I have this zip code. Would you accept X for the item shipped to my zip code? Thank you for your consideration. I am sure that I would be down to sell to that person. Whether or not I accept their offer, I am interested in continuing to work with this person. If you have a personal connection to this dress, don't give us a sob story, but but do tell us about that personal connection. As a seller, I love hearing, oh, I want to buy this because my grandma had a lemon tree and this dress has lemons on it and I miss my grandma and I want to wear it for her. Or this cat on your print looks just like my cat at home. And believe me, I've used this tactic to make offers before. That cat looks just like my cat. I am meant to have this dress, but I can only pay this much for it. If you sell me this dress for that much, I will cherish it more than some other random person who just wants it because it's a cute print. I will wear it and it will match my cat and my cat will love it and I will love it and it will be amazing. That's the sort of thing that's actually really compelling to a lot of people. However, I don't think it's wise to give us your life story either. Like, this is the dress that got me into Lolita Fashion. Fine. This is the dress that got me into Lolita Fashion and I didn't think I'd ever be able to wear it, but since I've had surgery and grown 17 inches, I will be able to wear it and I am so excited to finally have it, and I'm going off to college next month and I think it would be great to have it and I will wear it to this event at this sorority. I don't know, all of that was just made up off the top of my head because I'm an improv artist, but like, you get what I'm talking about, right? Like, we don't need your entire life story. A simple connection that shows that you are invested in the item as a specific piece will go a long way, but be careful of the TMI of it all. Don't be put off. Sometimes I can't accommodate somebody's budget, but I could accommodate a payment plan. So if I were to counter with something that is slightly outside of your stated budget, but offer a payment plan, that's something that you could consider. This isn't me saying, no, I absolutely will not want to work with you either. This just means, no, I can't do it this way. Sometimes people offer me a 10% down payment and then they want to stretch the rest out over 6 months, and I just can't do that. I require 30% upfront because that's the threshold that I feel is worth my time. If I do have to, relist the item because the payment plan falls apart or whatever, then that 30% is non-refundable per my terms, which is intimidating to some people, but I've already mentioned that I'm actually totally down to renegotiate terms after the first payment has been received, just to keep the ball rolling and to sell to somebody who I know is a good communicator. So, if somebody sends me an offer that's well below what I'm willing to accept and I send them a counter offer, this is not me shaming them or anything like that. It's just the reality of where my priorities are, and it shouldn't be taken personally. Something that happens a lot, especially if I'm getting an offer below the minimum bid the first time I've listed it, is I'll say, hi, I'm sorry, I can't accommodate this at this time. It's X% below my minimum bid. The listing has been up for 17 hours, and I'd like to see if I can get closer to my minimum bid. But if a lot of time passes and I still don't sell that item, I will absolutely reach back out to that prospective buyer and offer it to them for the original price that they offered, because the market's gonna do what the market's gonna do. We live in a capitalism, and the market is the market. People are only gonna pay what something is worth, and what they are willing to pay is what dictates what it's worth. So sometimes you're gonna take a loss on things, and I'm no exception. I take losses all the time. So if somebody sends you a counter offer and it's not something that you want, you can be firm in your price. You can say, I'm sorry, I really need this specific thing, and if that's not possible, I will not be able to buy this item, and just saying thank you for considering and I'm gonna pass is totally fine. Or saying thank you for your consideration, I will have to think about it is also totally fine. If you think about it and nothing ever comes of it, that is also totally fine. This is like the one time where I'll think about it is sort of code for no thanks, goodbye. It's fine. We kind of expect it at a certain point, so feel free to ghost after I'll think about it. But if you decide not to, or you have another counter offer that you'd like to make, you can reach back out at any time to reinitiate that. Lastly, if the seller has specifically mentioned that they are open to trades and you have an item that they have mentioned that they want to trade for, or, some people put their dream dress in their bio. I'm no exception there. I have a couple of specifically sought after dresses that I've left in my bio on LaceMarket, so that if somebody doesn't want to buy but they have that dress, they might be able to trade. Sorry about the lighting change. There was some shifting. I've been filming for so long that shifted. What was I talking about? Trading for items, yes. So if you have an item that the seller has said they are specifically looking for, feel free to offer a trade. I would say that by and large, most sellers are not interested in trading unless they specifically say that they are and what they are looking for. I have seen time and again folks trying to trade with me on LaceMarket for strange things. That anecdote about offering a half-used Red Lobster card is actually based on something that actually happened to me. It was not a Red Lobster gift card, it was a Joanne Fabrics gift card, which was thoughtful because they knew my work and they reached out to offer it to me because they knew I sewed things. But it was still a no from me because even with the total amount and everything, it was not enough to purchase my dress. Sorry, friend. So if you are told no, try to be gracious about it. Trading is also just really difficult. There's a lot involved, like negotiating shipping and timing, and there's a lot of trust and stuff. So most people will not be interested in trading. That's not to say don't try to trade. If you have something that you want to trade, I think it's usually best practice to post that you have something you would like to trade instead of approaching sellers who are specifically looking for $8 or, yen or euro or pound or whatever amount. But, mileage may vary. And the most important thing about the haggle is if somebody says no, don't attack them. It's not personal. Your priorities and their priorities are just not in alignment. You're just kind of missing each other, So, there's no hard feelings there. There shouldn't be. I've had some folks take it very seriously when I haven't accepted their offer or their counter offer or the other counter offer, and it's just not meant to be sometimes. But if you take it personally and you say something rude to me, you pretty much guarantee that I'm not going to be willing to work with you in the future. So there is that. Something to keep in mind when it comes to haggling is that you need to be specific with your numbers. I will never understand why people approach with, what's the lowest you'll go? What's your lowest number? Because that doesn't leave any room for negotiation. There's this thing called a whisper price that you have when you're trying to do negotiations over price, and that is the actual kind of target that you're trying to reach. If you've ever watched Pawn Stars or one of those home flipping renovation shows or whatever, you know what a whisper price is. It's this intuitive thing that we all kind of have. And when you start a negotiation with what's your lowest price, you're not really giving any room for negotiation. And it's pretty off-putting and rude also, especially if somebody is receiving multiple offers. That is not going to get you anywhere. So even if you think your offer is too low, it's better to make the offer in terms of an actual amount than to just ask for the lowest they can go without specification. Another thing I like to keep in mind is percentages, because again, I am a product marketer. I'm marketing products over here. I understand conversion rates and stuff. Ayo. But one thing you can think about is percentage of discount. You'll notice that when a brand you like has a sale and they send you email marketing or a push notification about it, they'll say like 20% off. That is a more compelling number to most people when they think about a sale than the actuality of like $5 off an item, right? If you are making an offer and it is 5, 10, 15, 20% off of the initial ask, you might get some response there. If you go for 30 or more percent off, that is going to be pretty hard to stomach, especially if the initial price is pretty high. So, before you offer $200 on a $400 dress, keep in mind that that is 50% off of the asking price. And if you are going to offer $5 for a $10 item, that is also 50% off of the asking price. The threshold of $5 might not be a lot to some, but to others, it's the percentage that matters more. So when I'm approaching a negotiation and somebody sends me an offer that I feel is too low, I like to reply to them with percentages involved. I also do a lot of shopping and selling on Poshmark. My Poshmark is linked, by the way. If you are interested in like kawaii everyday clothing, I have a lot of that, some fitness gear, and all of it has to go. But that's not my audience, so I'm not going to talk about that there. But if you want it, you can make a bundle and mention my YouTube video and I'll give you a great discount. When you offer a discount on Poshmark, they give you those standard 5, 15, 10, 20% off marks so that the buyer can see it in terms of percentages and you can see it in terms of percentages, and then you know what that translates to in terms of money as well. So I know I've been rambling for quite a long time, but I just want to go over a few quick little punchy tidbits that I'm going to call tips for success, and I'm going to talk about them in terms of a couple of overarching topics. So when it comes to respecting seller policies, keep in mind that sellers are well within their right to refuse to sell to you for pretty much any reason, and your only recourse is to leave them negative feedback, but they can leave you negative feedback too, and that can be pretty damaging. So if a seller is not replying to you, if they're ghosting you, or if you realize that you've broken one of their rules and they're not giving you the time of day, just know that it's totally normal. Learn from the experience, cut your losses, and just move on. You do not need to go on Discord and blast them. Trust. Keep in mind also why these rules exist. They are there to protect you as well as the sellers, and with PayPal already siding with buyers like most of the time, this is the only way that sellers can really protect themselves. It prevents scams, it protects their time, it keeps things running smoothly. A lot of them have a lot of experience in this. I know I do. My terms change all the time, and I always mention when they were last updated, so these things adapt for a reason, and just trust that the seller is not trying to make life difficult for you. They're just doing what they can to protect themselves. And again, always be polite with them. If you have a question about their terms, reaching out to them and not accusing them of anything, but just asking for clarification is always going to be better than leaving a rude comment about why they won't ship to you, or putting some sort of passive-aggressive note in your message when you buy something saying that you can't believe their terms are like this, but you're gonna deal with them anyway. Like, it's not really helping anybody. It might feel good for you in the moment, but if it leads to you getting negative feedback later, it will not feel good then. So just avoid it. Try to be pleasant, try to be kind, try to give them the benefit of the doubt, and treat them like a human being. Remember that there are some common pitfalls that you can just avoid altogether by being respectful and following everyone's terms. Don't offer trades unless the listing specifically invites trades. Don't ask what's your lowest instead of making a clear, specific offer. Don't try to negotiate things about price or timeline after the invoice has already been sent or after the auction ends. And whenever anything comes up, remember to communicate. Communicating is never a bad thing. We would pretty much all prefer that you over-communicate instead of under-communicate in these cases. Some things that you can do as a buyer that will make you absolutely loved and adored by sellers like me include the following. Number 1, be decisive. If you say you're gonna put in a bid, put in the bid. If you say you're going to use the buy it now button in order to initiate something after making an offer and having it accepted, buy the listing. Not being decisive means that other people can make bids and make purchases out from underneath you, and then everyone's disappointed. So make sure that you are being decisive, reach out when you need information and confirmation, but then act on the information you're getting. Remember to say please, thank you, excuse me, the things that we're taught as tiny children. Politeness goes a long way, but graciousness goes even farther, and kindness goes the furthest. So if you are asking for something, say thank you for your consideration, or thank you for the information. When things have wrapped up, a thank you message at the end, just to say, hey, I got the item and it looks great and I'm really happy and I've left you feedback. Really, really incredible feeling. 10 out of 10. Would sell to again. Speaking of which, leaving feedback and making it better than just A+ or great item, or God forbid the single word good with a period after it for a 5-star rating. That goes a long way. And I will always think fondly on the repeat buyers who leave me good feedback every time. They know who they are. I often buy from them too, because when you have the same measurements and it's a small community, you kind of end up supporting each other a lot. Some of us even have ongoing jokes in our feedback sections. So, establish good rapport, leave feedback, and be thoughtful about it. And don't be like the slowpoke. Leave feedback as soon as you feel comfortable leaving feedback. Lastly, and some people are going to disagree with this, but if you love your item and you feel like you want to go over the top, please do not send thank you gifts or tag the person who sold it to you in Instagram or social media or whatever. It is so sweet, it is so thoughtful, but it can also be pretty invasive, and I just recommend against it unless you explicitly get permission from the seller as a way of putting them over. For example, if they're an indie brand, that's totally different, but if it's an individual person who's given you a good experience, posting about it as if they are on Yelp is not the way to go. Just leave them good feedback and continue to support them by looking at their listings. That's really all they need from you. So, in conclusion, and to wrap things up with a pretty little bow, the Lolita community is really, really small. We are insular. The fact that I can have 2,600 subscribers and be considered a extremely popular Lolita YouTuber is frankly astounding. And because the community is so small, word travels fast. If you're rude to somebody, that is magnified. People have a whisper network where they warn each other about bad experiences with other people within the community, and the last thing you want is to have this sort of thing started about you over something as simple as trying to buy a dress on the secondhand market. It would suck. So save your reputation, be kind, be polite, and hopefully you'll get all of the pieces that you want with none of the fuss, none of the muss, and of course at the price you feel you can afford. I hope you found this video, helpful, entertaining, useful. If you think that I'm wrong, feel free to start a conversation with me in the comments. I would prefer it if you were nice, of course. I've just spent, probably an hour or whatever talking about how politeness goes a long way. So let's all be polite if we get into it in the comments. But if you think I'm, full of BS, you can tell me. I'm absolutely open to hearing other people's opinions on this. I think I have a lot of experience and can speak from a point of experience and wisdom, but maybe I'm wrong. So why don't you let me know? If you think I've left something out and you've got your own etiquette tips or, buyer or seller pet peeves that you just want to share with the community, please do leave a comment about that as well. I am sure that this is not the most exhaustive list, so I'm not some appointed authority on this, and there's probably some blind spots that as soon as you comment, I'm gonna go, of course, that is so, yep, you got me. Yeah, that's gonna happen. So make it happen by leaving me a comment about what I've left out. And of course, I have to tell you once more that if you are interested in plus size Lolita fashion, secondhand items, and you found this useful and you want to support me in some way as I move into my new house, please do check out my LaceMarket. It is linked in the description. If I'm allowed to by YouTube, I'll probably put a hyperlink somewhere on here as well. Other places that I'm selling things in general outside of Lolita Fashion are also listed on there. I've got collectibles going up on eBay. I've got normie clothing, even though it's very far from normie in my case usually because I'm a weirdo in and out of the fashion. But if you want to buy more normie clothing, especially activewear, business casual dresses, and really cool kawaii and cottagecore indie brand pieces, definitely do check out my Poshmark, my eBay. Right now, I can tell you that if you buy something on LaceMarket as part of my closet cleaning, this big move that I'm about to make, if it's a main piece, which is to say anything that can be used as a central point for your coordination, that's a dress, a blouse, a skirt, pretty much. Any of those items are going to come with one of my custom-made brooches that I made a long time ago with the hubris of an uneducated serial entrepreneur who wanted to start a business doing one-of-a-kind accessories. I have the stock. I made every single piece with specific other pieces and looks and coordinations in mind. So if you are buying from me right now, you will receive one of those for free as part of your order. This is if you pay the buy it now price, or if you make it with a minimum bid, I will honor it no matter what. And if you are buying something smaller from me and you mention this YouTube video or any of my other YouTube work in the comments when you are messaging me about payment and stuff, I will also include one in there for you, even if it's a smaller thing, because I love you and I appreciate your support. Now I have to do the dumb YouTube thing that I usually would forget to do, but I'm trying really hard with this video, and I made an outline and I have notes that I've been referencing and stuff. So I'm gonna do it because I said I would do it. Please like this video if you found it helpful, or give it a dislike if you think I'm full of BS. That is totally fine. However you're feeling today is all good. Please do subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are interested in this sort of thing. I also talk a lot about pro wrestling. I got some videos on cats I might be working on. I might do some sort of a house tour at some point if that's of any interest. And I'm also going to be doing a lot more crafting content in the near future because I'm trying to spend a lot more of my time doing creative pursuits. Which reminds me that I should have mentioned that my website has a bunch of my crafts on it. If you want to commission a craft from me, like something that I've sewn or a sticker or one of my t-shirts or something like that, you can check out elliedivine.com. You can find that in the link down there as well. Follow me on Instagram. I am at Ellie Delightful on Instagram. I still do this because of reasons. I don't know why. I started doing this motion when I say at my Instagram. It's like programmed into my brain at this point. Anyway, follow me on Instagram. I am going to be posting like little previews of some of the stuff that I'm about to list. I'm going to try to treat this as a business and actually promote it and like market it and stuff, even though that is exhausting to me and feels inauthentic, because I think it's going to help me ultimately. I really want to get everything into a good home. I want all of these dresses that I over-invested in to find homes with people who will actually wear them and enjoy them, especially the ones that I used to love and have outgrown and can no longer really justify keeping. And before you worry that I might not have anything that fits you, keep in mind that I am 6 feet tall, plus size, swole. I am 280 pounds. I wear like a 3 or a 4XL. I have stuff that is that size and a little bit bigger and way, way, way smaller. So it really runs the gamut. I'm probably going to have something for you. So please don't be shy and use the skills that we have learned from this video to make offers and haggle with me and ask for combined shipping on multiple items. Just do all that. You are smart and you are brave and you are well equipped to handle the secondhand market now. You are gonna rock LaceMarket. I just know it. And if you want to practice with somebody who's safe, you can practice with me, but only if you're serious about buying. Okay, I've done all my calls to actions, so now I'm allowed to leave. My name is Ellie D. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way till the end. Please put this emoji somewhere. If you don't have that emoji, just say the word emoji or reference what this emoji is somewhere in your comments, and I'll know you're part of the Cool Kids Club. And with that, I will bid you adieu because I gotta go eat some dinner and then hopefully hang out with my spouse in the hot tub before we leave this condo complex and lose access to it for all time. Okay, last time. Goodbye. Actually, hold on. Bye.
Okay. Bye. LOL. Bye. See ya. Bye. Love.